Hey everyone, and welcome to North Central. Today we're going to be talking about campers, and more importantly about them, winterizing them. So if that's something that you think you might be interested in, stick around, because here in about 30 seconds, we're going to get into it. Alright guys, so in hindsight, all campers are somewhat related. This is a small camper, okay? It's a pole behind, it's not a fifth wheel or anything like that. But when it comes to winterizing, pretty much they're all kind of the same. So one of the first things that you want to do is get up in your cabinets and get everything that you eat or drink out of the camper, okay? Potentially it could be freezing and thawing, any canned goods, any water goods, anything that you eat or drink, just get it out until the next season. Once you do that, go ahead and get anything else out that you don't want to freeze. You don't have to get everything out. Paper plates and stuff like that are fine. But if it's going to freeze and you don't want it to freeze, it may be a mess when you come back in it in the spring. So go ahead and get it out. I try and always winterize mine at my home. So with that, I like to hook mine up to shore power. Your camper should have came with a plug like this that hooks it up to 120 or to 20 amp. So go ahead and hook it up. Okay, so let's walk right back here and let's talk about water. This being the kitchen sink. Back here, of course, is the bathroom with the toilet and the shower. And that's all the water places that I have. I don't have an outside shower. I don't have a sink inside. So it's really kind of basic. This is a bunk bed set in the back of my camper. Okay, this is the bottom bunk, of course, down here. This being the top bunk. Now, I've taken the liberty. I've gone ahead and taken off the mattress and the wooden piece. And that exposes this front section right here, which can be used for storage. Back here in the back, this is where the hot water tank is. Okay, and you got, of course, the piping. Right down there is the water pump. So this is where all of my water stuff comes in and I use it. So the first thing you want to do whenever you're going to be doing your hot water tank or water in general is you want to secure your hot water tank and drain it. And the way you secure it is you have these little knobs right here. And I don't have a lot of lighting back here, so I apologize if this is a little bit dark. But you have this inlet, this knob here and the knob down here. The one at the bottom is the inlet. You see the blue piping? Okay, that's the cold water going in. This is the hot water coming out. Right here is the three-way valve, okay? So you have hot water going out, and then you have this little pipe right here that I'm pointing at. That is your bypass. You're going to turn these sideways like that, okay? If it's turned in towards your hot water tank, then the water is going to be coming through and out. If you turn it line-wise like this, it's coming around. So you have two of them, one on the bottom, one on the top. Make sure you get them both. That's going to bypass the hot water tank. No water coming in, no water coming out. And the cold water from your pump is going to come down, go around, go through this pipe, back towards your hot water pipes to the rest of your system. So that when we put the antifreeze in it and we pump it with the pump through our hose here that's already connected to the pump, we don't have to fill up the hot water tank, because that's about 5 gallons right there, and you would have to buy a lot of antifreeze to fill that baby up. So we got the bypass, it's already installed, it's real nice and neat. Let's go outside and let's empty the hot water tank. All right, so this right here is where my hot water tank is. I'm simply going to unkey it, fold it down. Now I have access to everything that's in here. So here it is in a nutshell. This is your vent, and before you do anything with this, always vent it and make sure that there's no pressure inside this thing, especially after you've just used it or anything like that, because you still may have pressure in here, and you do something in here and you may get a mouthful of water and it might actually hurt. So make sure that you always vent it before you do anything in here. So that thing's vented open. Now right here is the plug. This is the drain plug, okay? This plastic piece right here. Okay, this is a 15/16, and it's kind of hard to get into at it, but you can. So I'm gonna put the camera down on a mount and get into it. Okay, so here's the plug. Like I said, it's a little bit difficult to get into, but you can. Take the plug out and let it drain. Remember to keep your vent open, that way air can come in as this thing drains out. Like that. There it goes. Just a note, putting something right in here, plastic piece that sticks out this way, would probably be a good idea to keep the water off of everything in here and have it come on out. I didn't think about doing it until now, but it'd be a good idea to stick something in here that would make the water come out this way better, instead of draining it onto this metal piece back here. And then we're just going to take this plug and we're going to screw the plug right back in. Be careful, it is plastic. You can cross thread it pretty easy, so just take your time and screw it right back in. You don't have to over torque it and make it real tight. Like I said, it's plastic, so when you get a good little tightness on it, stop. And the hot water tank's done. All right, so another thing that I like to do is fill up my actual water tank. My water tank is right underneath this, or at least this goes to it. Unscrew this. Nope, I ain't gonna go in there like that. Turn the water in and let it fill up. I like to do this because it's been a month or two since I've actually used this camper, so I don't know what's in my water tank, the water that was in it, because I do use this water tank. I go places where I don't have water, so I have to use this and take water with me. So I'm going to have to put new chlorinated water into the tank and then go ahead and drain it all right back out, just to make sure that everything is on the up and up. And then this spring, when I go to de-winterize it, I'll actually put some bleach down inside this along with the water to really chlorinate it out, make sure everything's good. But this is just to flush everything out real nice and neat, at least in the water tank part. So we'll let this fill up and then we'll drain it. Oh. All right, so when this happens, it means that it's full. Turn the water off, pull this out. That's going to drain down like it normally does. Simply come around here to where it is. Now right down here it says low point drain. If you look underneath, you have this little drain right here. We're going to take it and turn it. And we're going to let the water drain right back out of it. Make sure you leave this open. I don't know if you can hear that gurgling. This is your port for air to get into it to make it drain faster. So it's going to take a little bit, so we're just going to leave it open and let it do its thing. All right, so next up, We're going to take our RV and Marine antifreeze. And we're going to let the water pump it through all the lines until it comes out into the sink, the commode, and the bathtub. So let's get started with that. Go ahead and close this door. All right, so we've got to connect this into the bottle right down here. And again, it's dark, and I apologize, but right down here, there's another three-way valve that bypasses this line going to my water tank and makes it to where you can use this Tygon tubing here going down into the RV Marine antifreeze. So we're going to turn that to make this one good. It's going to start pumping from here. We're going to walk over the counter here where everything is. Get out of the way. Okay, this is my distribution channel somewhat. I got my water tank, my hot water heater, and water heater. This one is for gas, and this one's for electric for the water heater. Both those are off. The hot water pump is turned on for battery. And with that, we're just simply going to run the water. And you can hear the pump pumping. And we're going to let it pump until we see the stuff come right out of it. There it is. Good on that one. Same thing with this line. There it is. There's the pink stuff. Then we're going to go right in here to the commode. That needs to go out of here. Lift the lid. Down here is where you activate the water. There's the pink stuff. And then here into the shower. Pink stuff. Pink stuff. Now what we want to do is up here with the shower head. We want to do the same thing. I'm going to purge it just like we did the other ones. So there's the shower head. Water on. Put this up first. There it is. Spitting out the purple. So there's the pink stuff. There it is. Spitting out the pink stuff. Just like that. And we're going to let that drain in there like so. Pop that down. And that's it. What I'm going to do is, it's up to where it drains out somewhat. That's up like so. I'm just going to move that over here like so. So it'll drain a little bit. Turn the water pump on so that the rest of this gets out of the tube. So once that happens, you can hear the water pump is still pumping, okay? I'm going to drain these lines as much as I can. And I'm going to drain them all as much as I can. With air. Just like that. let all this drain out as much as I can. Okay. Turn off the water pump. Close my door. Come back over here. So this is my antifreeze. I'm going to reclose this valve like so. Stick this back in here like so. So I flushed everything, the water out. I got the antifreeze in the lines, and then I've tried to flush the antifreeze out of the lines with air as much as I could. I'm done inside here for the winter. I can go ahead and put my bunk and stuff back. Take these out. I'll put this one into here later. Use that for next year where I only have to buy one bottle. And then I always leave my valves open. That way air can get in and out and do what it's supposed to do in cold temperatures, where I can anyways. Open it up, open it up. I'll put this back up in here. And that is the water done. Let me get stuff back together and we'll talk about some other things. All right, so as far as winterizing your camper, those are the big things. The water is the big thing. Secondary to that, propane and electric. What you're going to do with that is really simple. You're going to come right down here to your distribution panel, which mine's right here. This is my electrical distribution panel. And I'm going to turn off all my electric from there. And then I'm going to walk outside and I'm going to disconnect the battery. But I'm not going to do that disconnect the battery right now until I go over to my storage shed where I put the camper for the winter. I rent a place to store the camper, which I recommend. Always cover it or with a tarp, something. Don't leave it out all winter long with snow and the forces of winter and nature to destroy the top of your camper. Always cover it either with a tarp or park it under a building, even if you have to rent a building. So after the electrical, then it's the propane. We're going to walk out front and disconnect it right now. All right, like I said, small camper, one propane tank. You may have two, it doesn't really matter. Make sure your tank is closed. Simply disconnect it and leave it hanging down. Some of them have, you can get plugs for these to plug it to where nothing can get up in there. I've never had an issue with it. I just leave mine hanging down. This is my battery, and whenever I get over to the storage facility, I will just simply uncouple this, take a screwdriver, take off the lead, and leave the battery disconnected. This thing will be completely winterized and ready for me to come into it next spring and de-winterize it. All right, guys, so one more thing is your awning. Always make sure that your awning is dry. It's a nice warm day today. The sun's out. I'm gonna go ahead and put my awning down. It should be dry, but I'm gonna go ahead and put it out. I'm lucky enough that I have a electric awning. It's just a touch of a button and it comes out all on its own. And just like that, the awning's out. I'm gonna let that dry for a little bit. Even if it's already dry, I'm still gonna leave it out for about an hour or so. It's clear skies, and we're gonna make sure, and then I'll go walk around the camper, make sure everything's buttoned up, plugged up. Might even take some cleaner and clean some stuff up. All right, guys, so as far as me winterizing my camper, this camper, that's pretty much it, other than going around and simply making sure everything's buttoned up, all my plugs are in place, things are wound up, like this electrical cord, which I will do whenever I get ready to leave. Right now I'm just charging my battery up until I disconnect it over at my storage facility. Make sure that always make sure you winterize your camper. If you don't, especially the water systems, if you don't, you could pay a heavy price and having to do a lot of different stuff with water getting into your camper. So, all right, everybody. So that is me winterizing my camper. Water, propane, electric. Take care of those three, and you probably won't have very many problems. Make sure that your vents are all the way down, and at a bare minimum, at least cover the top of your camper with a tarp. I myself rent a place that has a storage facility for campers inside a big loft-like area, and so that I know that my camper is completely covered and out of the weather. It will last 10 times longer, and when you go for a resale, you'll get probably 10 times the money than if you just leave it sitting in your yard 24/7, 365. So sun and snow and cold weather are destroyers of campers. So try and keep yours as long as you can, okay? So I hope you liked the video, and if you did, give it a thumbs up. Like, share, subscribe if you can, if you haven't already. And until next time, this is North Central. Thanks for watching.